Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems the walls are closing in on our good friend Tim Walz. We've got clips that are being unearthed. We've got rumors that Kamala Harris just hates Walz. She can't sleep. She's having nightmares about Walz. And she wanted Shapiro, and she's going to blame Walz when she ends up losing. But take a look at this. This is an unearthed video where Walz brags about mass immigration into a small town in Minnesota. Let's see what he says here.
We have more refugees per capita than...
Why is he wearing so much makeup? It's almost like glitter.
We have more refugees per capita than any other state. That's not...
We have more refugees per capita than any other state. He's bragging about it.
Just morally a good thing. It's our economic and cultural future. This beautiful diversity.
Our economic and cultural future is having 50 different languages spoken at an elementary school. That's what Tim Walz says.
We see out in Worthington when I'm there, you see 50 languages spoken in the school.
And he brags about it. In the schools, 50 different languages. So this just shows you how ridiculous the whole idea that Kamala Harris is trying to preach that she's this badass on the border. This is who she picked to be VP. This is the exact opposite. He is saying our future is mass, whether it's legal or illegal, immigration. And that the future is 50 different languages inside classrooms. And I don't know when this was. When was this? Like 2019, 2020, when he was a candidate for re-election. But yeah, that is just terrible. And he's going to have a lot to answer to tonight. I think I have another clip of him. I did also want to talk about this. Well, there are a few polls to react to, or at least this Arizona one. Emerson's come out with a poll, Trump +3 in Arizona. So for Emerson, I think that's good news for Trump. You'll take a +3, certainly. I mean, you'll take a +2 or a +1 as well. It's just a poll. It's not the end of the world either way. But +3, that's a solid lead for Trump. Emerson, you know, it's not like they're a Republican pollster or anything. You've also got this port strike. That's very interesting. And people talking about what's the black swan going to be of this election. Well, this port strike apparently has just started, and a lot of people are thinking this could be a big problem. This is the kind of the details about this. I'm going to quickly read this. 45,000 U.S. port workers have officially gone on strike from Maine to Texas for the first time since 1977. Currently, around 50,000 members of the International Longshoremen's Association are on strike for the first time since 77, stopping operations at the East and Gulf ports of the U.S., according to the AP. The strike has disrupted the flow of many imports and exports, including making it one of the most significant work stoppages in decades. Dock workers began picketing shortly before their contract expired at midnight. With no agreement in sight, there is a significant gap between the union's demands and the offer from the United States Maritime Alliance, which represents foreign-owned shipping lanes, terminal operations, and port authorities. The strike is expected to block the movement of a wide range of goods through nearly all cargo ports from Maine to Texas, which includes everything from toys to fresh fruit, furniture, clothing, household items, along with European automobiles. And there you can see all of these states involved with this potential strike. 45,000 port workers involved in it. And they got like the union leader acting like a mafia boss. I don't know if you saw that interview. A lot of people didn't like that. But I mean, what they're doing is they're striking because of AI. And it's going to take all their jobs. And they offered them a 50% increase. They want a 77% increase, but they don't want the AI taking their jobs. We got video from China, and you see these Chinese ports, and it's just all automated. And it's like there's 12, more like tech-savvy people. You would think this is some type of crazy crypto trading thing. No, this is in China. This is what they're afraid of. And really, this strike is only going to lead to faster adoption of this type of technology. You can see this is being moved via AI, from that command post with just, a bunch of really young kids in front of these computers. I mean, they got like young kids doing this. This is pretty crazy. So that's what they're scared is the future in the United States. And so they're going on strike in part because they want to be paid more, but mainly because of the potential AI taking over their jobs. And unfortunately, with a strike like this, when it comes to union workers, they're not the most popular right now. A lot of people don't like unions. A lot of Republicans don't like them. And I think this is just going to lead to more AI, honestly, and more stuff like this. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. But this could be a big disruption depending on how long that lasts. And then I thought this was a really good tweet. This is from Byron Donald's account listing the reasons why the Senate border deal failed. If you don't know, the Senate border bill would have been basically the thing that the Democrats say would have fixed everything with the border. They blame Donald Trump for telling people to not vote for it and not pass it because they think, oh, it's political advantage for the border to be bad for Trump, when in reality, Trump had an amazing border. We don't even have to get into an argument about that. See, if you're debating a liberal and they start talking about that, you don't even have to debate that because the border was under control until Biden signed all of the executive orders, because their viewpoint was that Trump was making it too hard to get citizenship or just come into the country in general. So they did away with a lot of Trump policies, which made the border horrible. The Democrats made the border terrible. But on top of that, even if you do get into an argument, I mean, there's no way this deal would have passed anyways. And honestly, the number one thing should be they wanted to send $60 billion to Ukraine. This is their so-called big, it's like this is their concession. This was the Democrats' bipartisan. That's what they always say, bipartisan. $60 billion to Ukraine. This is a border deal that you're supposed to kind of, tuck your tail in between your legs and say, guys, we're sorry. We messed up the last 3 years. We're going to do a bipartisan bill that's very favorable to Republicans. Does $60 billion to Ukraine seem favorable to Republicans based on their voters' viewpoint of the war with Ukraine and the amount of money we send them? Does that really seem like a bipartisan deal when you're the ones that caused the issue with the border in the first place? Now you're trying to fix it and you're so greedy that you also want the $60 billion to Ukraine. You can't just fix the problem that you caused. Like it's crazy how, and then obviously all this other stuff. And Byron Donalds explains the deal was to let in 1.8 million illegals apparently every year. So if Harris won and this went through and this would have saved us, it would have been perfectly fine if 7 to 8 million illegals entered the country under her administration, under the first 4 years. And then obviously she'd run for re-election. We hope that doesn't happen. We don't think it will. But this just goes to show you how ridiculous this is. The amnesty. The sanctuary cities, what a disaster that has been. My God. Work permits to illegals. Listen, this should be another top one. They're not deporting any illegals, and they're still not doing that. It's like, they're not giving up anything. They're saying they're going to be tougher on the border. What are you talking about? You're not deporting anyone. There's already 15 million illegals into the country. I mean, my goodness. But yeah, when it comes to that bill, it was such a failure, and now they blame Trump. The only reason it didn't pass was because Trump. No, it's totally bipartisan. You only want $60 billion to Ukraine. You're the ones that destroyed the border. But no, they're gonna fix it. But it's we have to get our $60 billion to Ukraine. We have to get something, even though we wrecked the border. And now it's just so sad to see this whole idea that they care about the border. Where was this talk in 2021, 2022, 2023? Oh, wait, you didn't need working class white people to vote for you in Rust Belt states. Now you do. So now you've got this token bullshit. We care about the border. We care about you. We're going to stop it. I mean, Kamala Harris quite literally endorsed Donald Trump's border wall. She endorsed it. Her campaign spokesman or spokesperson said, an anonymous aide said she endorses the border wall and she's going to finish it. So that's how ridiculous it is at this point. Remember, she said in 50 different tweets from like 2019 to 2022 that she hated the wall and it was and it was a waste of time. And then they stopped the funding of the wall and scrapped the material that was going to be used to finish it. So it just goes to show you how ridiculous it is. But guys, we've got the big debate tonight. And we'll have to see what happens with Vance and Walz. The walls are closing in on Walz. Yes, that is what's happening. And we would expect you get clips like this where Walz is bragging, oh yeah, I wonder how well this will play with this electorate, where you've got, think about how much Trump wins immigration by 15, 20 points. With independents, it's even more. He wins the immigration with independents by like 25, 30 points. And you've got Walz out here wearing about 2 pounds of makeup on his face, saying that it's beautiful that there's 50 different languages spoken at a school. That doesn't make it hard for kids to learn. No. Ask Springfield. How about Democrats defending what's going on in Springfield, gaslighting the people in Springfield? That's their new argument now. They say, oh, the people there welcome him in and they want him. Yeah, they want the higher insurance costs. They want all the accidents. That's sure. It's totally ridiculous. I mean, you get an influx of where half your town's now Haitian migrants. It's a big problem. Either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.